Hey everybody, Elliot from Venture Content here, and today I'm going to be getting into some Premiere Pro editing shortcuts as well as a little bit of my workflow. So, stay tuned. So, editing. You kind of have to do it, maybe you love doing it. In my case, it's a little bit of both. I'm learning to love it. And one of the things that can help you to love doing it more is if you know how to do it quickly. And there's some great shortcuts that I've learned that have expedited my entire editing process, and I would like to share some of those with you. So hopefully you can use them. All right, so let's start by opening Premiere Pro, which if you don't know how to do, maybe watch a video on that first, because I'm not going to go into that. So, File, New Project. So today we're going to be looking at some footage that I shot in the Redwoods. So we'll call this Redwoods video. All right, boom shakalaka. Okay, so you've opened your Premiere Pro and now you want to import media. Well, instead of right-clicking and finding how to import, Cmd I, and we can just go straight in here. And for all you Mac users out here, when you're navigating your Finder, you can actually use Command and the up and down arrows to go into different folders. So Command down will go actually into a folder, and Command up will go back out of it. So we're in here, Oregon Woods. Where is this? North California footage, Redwoods. All right, and let's just import that whole file. Now this handy dandy thing, already put it into a folder, but we're gonna have to organize our footage. So really quickly, we're gonna create a new folder. It's gonna be Command \, and we'll call this video footage. And we will move that in here. So the way I like to organize all of my projects is usually I have a folder for all of my video, then I have one for all of my audio, then I have one for, then I've got one bin that is for my sequences, and usually there's music, and I import that in later. So now that you've got your footage, you're probably going to want to be creating a sequence. And here, Cmd N will open that for you, and we'll call the sequence Redwoods. Make sure you choose whatever settings are right for you, and this will be Redwoods all footage. So we can drag that into our sequences folder. Beautiful. And so now we're going to get into a tiny bit of my workflow. So usually I've done a ton of shooting, or somebody sent me a ton of footage, and instead of opening that up in the source monitor and looking through it clip by clip by clip, I like to drag all of the footage onto a timeline. And let's zoom out a little bit there. So boom, we'll keep the existing settings, and we've got all of this footage here on the timeline. And so let's say you want to look through this really quickly. You can use the up and down keys to sort of like, it'll scrub through all of the different clips that you have, up to go backwards, and obviously space to play, which is fantastic. So in terms of workflow, this is a process that a lot of people refer to as pulling selects from your footage, because you have this whole baseline of footage and you're just kind of pulling the best parts from that to make whatever you're making. If it's a narrative, it's a documentary, or a commercial. It's actually one of my favorite things to do because you can just listen to music. Speaking of which, let's cue some Chopin. All right, so now if you want to look through all this footage, instead of just searching through your timeline and all this, what I like to do is we go to here, you're going to right click, and you're going to go to Open in Source Monitor. So now this sequence that we just created with all of our footage is in our source monitor, and you can use the up and down arrows here as well, and it will scrub through clip by clip, start to end point, like we did last time, and you can see everything. Beautiful, isn't that nice? So let's create another sequence. In our sequences folder, Cmd N, and we're going to call this selects. So we've got a fresh new timeline here, and we're playing our old sequence with all of our footage up here. So this is the big hack, I guess. When you're scrubbing through, now you can look through all of your footage and you can get it onto the timeline super fast. So you're scrubbing through, you're playing, you find a clip that you like. Let's find something that actually looks good. Okay, I like, for instance, this little clip of cars going by. So you're going to select I to mark your endpoint and play through where you want. Beautiful. O for your out point, and instead of dragging it all the way, because he wants to do that, you can just press the comma button. Boom, and there it shows right up on our timeline. That is freaking cool and awesome. So essentially, you're gonna do that with all of your footage. You can just keep playing through clips, finding things you like, and pasting them into your timeline. Beautiful. All right, so let's do that for like another few clips. We're not actually doing the edit here, but if we were, we could actually pretend that this is happening. Boom. Okay. So again, just a reminder, now let's say I want to import some of my music. So again, you open your folder, Control I, that's going to bring up your import, and this thing is on my desktop, I believe. And we're going to import those two. Beautiful, and we'll drag that down here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to be editing that together later. So now I'm going to get into some cool hacks. We're going to mute that for now because we don't need it. So when it comes to actually editing on your timeline, there's some other cool things you can do. As you might want to know, the same thing with in and out points applies here if you want to render sequence. So let's say you can mark your in point on your actual sequence. Maybe you added some effects there and you're out, and then you can go up here to sequence, render into out, and we'll actually go through and render all those files, and now we can see them playing at full quality. Super nice. And then to get rid of those, you can just do Option I and Option O. Clears out both of those. Sweet. So we muted our audio track. Now, let's say you want to adjust the volume of something. Quick hack, G, gain, is going to pull up all of that information for you, and we can get that sound down like 7 decibels. Beautiful. And now, nice quiet cars. Isn't that lovely? Another hack, let's say you've got 2 clips and you want to fade them in between each other. Instead of having to search through your effects bar, you can do Cmd Shift D, and it's going to go ahead and pull up that constant power effect between those clips for you. And if you have an individual clip, like this guy out here, and you do Cmd Shift D, it's actually going to fade it in and out. And if you do Cmd D, it'll do that for cross dissolves. So if you've got 2 clips, same thing, Cmd D is going to cross dissolve those together. Not that we really use cross dissolves that much, but if you're fading in stuff, I find it more useful for audio. But hey, you never know, that could help you. Another thing that I tend to do a lot is reverse things or speed things up, because sometimes you're shooting slow-mo, all that jazz. Instead of finding your effects, you can just press Cmd R, and it will pull up the speed, and you can reverse it here, or you can adjust the speed. Let's make it faster. Beautiful. And now our truck is flying backwards into the redwoods. Cool. So that's another simple thing that you can do. What have we not covered yet? So if you ever want to actually learn more about keyboard shortcuts or set your own, you can do Control Option K or Command Option K, and that will pull up all of these for you. And as you can see, Premiere Pro has a lot of them already figured out and preset for you, which is great. But you can actually program some. For instance, all of my F keys are programmed to actually label footage with color, because I'm really big at associating things with color and theme. For instance, I have it set so I can label clips different colors. So for instance, FN6 is going to label that rose or violet or whatever that is, but FN8 is going to make it FN8. That's funny. I have such a childish sense of humor. And like FN10, it's going to give you different colors so you can actually organize, and I mean, obviously the same thing applies to audio. Make it all kinds of colors. Obviously Control Z to go backwards, but Command Shift G to redo an edit, which is almost just as important. And as always, if you're a good editor, you're going to constantly be pressing Command S to save your project. So let's say that we're really happy with this now. I think those are some great edits. We can just do a quick Control M, and that's going to bring up our media exporter, and you can export this footage however you want. Ding! All right. Well, I hope you found those little tips helpful. Those are things that I use very frequently throughout all of my edits, and it's just a simple workflow stuff, simple shortcut stuff. Take some time, learn. There's so many different shortcuts out there. Take time to learn a few of them, make your edits faster, and enjoy what you do some more. All right. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.